Hi and welcome to Ride Riders. Today I wanted to do a review on a little bike that's been intriguing me for some time. That bike is the Herald Maverick 125 and I'll tell you why. The reason why this bike has intrigued me for a while is I've got a friend who's got one. And we went out to Sweetlam last year and did the off-road Sweetlam course with the KTM guys. And everybody took lots of different bikes. And what bike makes a good off-road bike? Well, some people wanted to learn adventure, some people wanted to have fun, and some people wanted to enhance their skills. And we had all sorts of bikes from GS 1250s, BMWs. I was on a CRF 300, there were quite a few of those. But my mate turned up on L-Plays on one of these Bullet Hero 125s. And I was quite surprised how well he did on it. And this bike pretty much did everything that everybody else was doing. Not as well, not as comfortable, but it was doing it. It just goes to show you, whatever bike you've got, and I've seen people on CT 125s, I've seen people on Honda, Innovas, just getting out on the trail and having fun, but this bike looks good. I've had a couple of Bonnevilles and Bonneville scramblers, and I paid 13 grand for my 1200 scrambler. So I was getting my son's XR125 front tyre changed, and I looked over my shoulder and there was one of these for sale. He wanted 800 quid for it. He'd done his CBT, rode the bike for a couple of miles, didn't enjoy it, took it off-road, got it full of mud and said, it ain't for me. I got it home, give it a clean, and I took it for a test ride, and this is what my thoughts are. So, we're on the Herald Maverick 125. The previous owners took out the end plate from the exhaust, so let's give it a nice raspy sound, but it's very noisy, so I don't know if the sound's going to come across over the GoPro. It's quite a tall bike. I'm 6'2", and I can flat foot it with a bend in my knees, but it is quite a tall seat. It reminds me a little bit of a baby Bonnie. It's got that retro scrambler style to it. Very attractive bike. Yeah, it changes gear nicely. That exhaust is a little noisy. Not sure it's my style, but they can certainly hear you coming. This is the fuel injection model, so there's no messing around with carburetors. I believe Euro 4 2020. It's a very light bike, very nimble bike, easy to ride, but it doesn't feel like a small bike, like a lot of 125s do. It doesn't sound like a 125 either. Yeah, it's comfortable. A nice sit up and beg, relaxed style of riding. Five-speed. Yeah, it pulls up well too. It's very sure-footed. It's for a light bike and a scrambler style. I know it's got the chunky knobbly tyres on, but they actually work quite well on the road.
So this is the Herald Maverick 125, also known as the Bullet Hero 125. It's a retro scrambler style motorcycle, kind of hints of a baby Bonneville. Nice chunky wheels and tyres. This one's a Euro 4, so it's fuel injected, so no worrying about carburetors, etc. Good solid bash plate underneath. It's a bit mucky, but I've not yet took it on this, which is a light lane. Disc brakes front and rear, LED indicators. It's quite a tall bike for a 125. It doesn't feel like a 125, but it is very light. It's very light and nimble. And although it's got the knobbly tyres, it holds the road very, very well. Suspension's quite firm but plush, and it doesn't get blown around too much. What a lovely day. What a lovely day to be out riding motorcycles. It's the 19th of October. And it's beautiful. It's perfect motorcycling riding weather. I stopped off for some fuel earlier, and the looks that people looked at it, because it does look, well, it looks like a hipster. It's quite aggressive stance, and it's just a pleasurable little thing to ride. You could commute on it, you could use it for the scrambling at the weekends. I mean, it goes to show you don't need a massive off-road enduro bike to go scrambling and have fun. You just need a bike. And these things can be picked up second hand in reasonable condition for about £1,000. Now granted, some have been absolutely trashed and used and abused, and people say, oh, they're a bad bike, and some have hardly been out and used them in the nice weather, and they said they're a great bike. So take a bit of both. If you abuse something and you don't look after it, it ain't going to look after you. It's as simple as that. But a 3.5-year-old bike for £1,000 that looks as good as this and puts a smile on your face, it's not a bad purchase. But if you just want to get out at the weekend and enjoy a few lanes, and you're just thinking of getting into the sport, for £1,000 you're not going to lose too much money, even if you don't like it. Or if you just want a commuter that you're going to get to and from work in the winter, and you just don't want to put the stress, strain and weather on your main bike, this is a perfect second little bike. And you wouldn't be ashamed to be seen on it either. But this is a phenomenal little bike. I don't care what people's reviewed about it. This is, from my point of view, this is a 3.5-year, nearly 4-year-old bike. And it's just fun. And you could say to yourself, well, it could brake a bit better. The suspension could be a bit more long travel. You could have a bit more power from this engine. And you know what? If you got all that, you're spending £3,000. Have you seen the price of some of these Japanese 125s? If you buy one of these and you look after it, it'll look after you. Well, that's my thoughts on this bike. It isn't a full review. I'm not going to go through the specs, I'm not going to go through the details. There's loads of people doing that. This is just my thought. Fun ride, fun bike, happy place. From somebody that's rode £12,000–13,000 worth of bikes. And you get more equipment. Do you use it? Probably not. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching. I will catch you on the next one.